Hi, Gene Burnett from GeneBurnett.com. It's a chilly, rainy day here in the spring of 2017 here in Southern Oregon, and I'm going to shoot videos inside today. This one is going to be about a little update on my freestyle Tai Chi workout. I came up with this several months ago, posted a video about it, and I've been practicing it almost every day since, in one form or another, and I'm really enjoying this and really getting value out of it. Initially I just wanted to have a little home workout that didn't take up a lot of space, that was a little bit out of the box from the usual slow motion study of motion and movement and kinetic chains and things, posture and things that we work on in the Tai Chi system. I still do hours and hours of that every day between teaching and practicing out in the park, but here at home I have less space, and my main practice area is not actually here in the living room, but it's in my office bedroom type room over there, and it's even smaller. So it initially started as just a way to work out and stay in a small space and just be out of the box from the usual stuff, but since I've been practicing it quite a bit, I really enjoy it and really see it as kind of symbolic or emblematic of the kind of things that I like to work on, the kind of things that I enjoy in my body, just having a body. And so just to review briefly, the first thing I do is get myself into neutral posture and soften my muscles onto the skeleton, and then I work on floating my joints a little bit, suspending my joints as if each one had a string. It's sort of a way of gently holding open the joints. It allows the nervous system to communicate to and from the body, I feel, much better. It allows my nervous system and my sense of sensation of what's going on in my body to be unimpeded. In other words, my motor nerves, the sort of young nerves, the action nerves out of the brain and into the body, feel alert and ready for motion and able to make corrections, able to make movements happen pretty easily. And then my sensory nerve, the yin nerves that bring information in, are also, feel very receptive and very tuned into what's going on in my body. And this is because of the joints not being tight. When they're tight or constricted or kind of closed, it can be good for certain things. I mean, you sure don't want your joints open when you're like lifting weight or when you're pushing a car or something. But as a listening exercise, as a way to pay attention to what's going on in your body, it's not good to have your joints closed or locked. You can close and lock them by just relaxing. Like if I just let my wrist go limp like this, it just closes off and eventually it'll go numb and I can't do anything with it and I can't feel anything with it. Or if I hold really tight, the same thing will happen. So I want to be suspended in my joints so they're loose and relaxed. And in this phase of the workout, I kind of call it like going kelpie or like seaweed. I just suspend my joints and I listen in and I let impulses or movements move me like a current in the ocean, and I might really be loosening my neck and head, or I might pick different parts of my body to let sort of wiggle around. Sometimes I do it with stepping, sometimes without stepping, but the purpose here is not to do stuff, it's to listen. So I really go more passive and more gentle with my actions. It's not like I'm doing things with my body. I'm just relaxing and letting impulses, move through and listening softly to what's going on inside my body. And I'll do this for, I don't know, anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 or 15 minutes. And it's a challenge. There's that part of me that goes, okay, I got this, I've done this, let's move on. And I always go past that point because that's usually a sign that I'm getting restless or uncomfortable and that there might be a little more good stuff for me to pay attention to if I go a little bit longer. So I keep that loose, comfortable feeling in there, and I listen for tender areas, for things that might be a little bit injured or pre-injured or something that might be a little bit bound up. I listen for comfort and ease, like what feels good. I listen emotionally to how I'm feeling. I listen to my mind, and I notice my mental state, like how I'm doing, are my thoughts racing, or am I worried, or what's going on. And I'm not trying to change anything or fix anything. If something changes because I notice it, lovely, but not trying to do that. I'm mostly just listening and feeling what it's like to have my joints suspended and let my whole body listen and my whole body gently move as though I was seaweed, kind of responding to currents in the ocean. And I do that for a while. And then the next portion is sort of form. And what I do is I do various movements from the various forms that I know. Sometimes I'll just drill individual movements, but I'll go a little bit faster than I usually do. I might just repeat movements like this, or I might go one movement to another, just picking movements from the form at random and seeing if I can keep it fresh and keep it interesting without repeating anything too much, just working on the different movements and trying to see how comfortable and how correct I can do the movement without any time, without the time to feel the current and settle as I go and make micro corrections until I can be, in as good a posture as I can get. I'm taking away that luxury of time. So just how much can I get with just a spur of the moment, I just decide, okay, punch, withdraw, push, fairly to work shuttles, needle at sea bottom, fan through back, upper punch, chop with fist, whatever order I can do. Sometimes I'll just drill things. I'll just drill a movement, or I'll just take some exercises that I know from any form. But the idea is taking that loose, suspended, relaxed, aligned kind of seaweed feeling and sculpting it into a purposeful movement from any form. I mean, I might just do some little stretching drill that I know, or I might just do a Qigong movement or two, or I might do a Tai Chi movement, or a Xing Yi movement, or a Bagua movement. I might just walk in circles, whatever. But I'm mixing and matching and grabbing and doing whatever just to flow between various movements in the form and not study them so intensely and so slowly. And sometimes, if I'm feeling it, I will just run through like the simplified form or one of the shorter forms, and I'll just kind of do it in place rather than needing more space. I'll do the movements in place. And so sometimes I'll do a form very similarly to what I would do outdoors when I had more space and time and I'm going into the slow motion practice. But generally I go a little bit faster. The third section is more what I call expressive, explorative movements. They're expressive in that I'm not thinking of martial functioning. I might dance, I might put some music on and just dance in kind of a more expressive way. What does my body feel like doing? How do I feel like moving? Not trying to dance well or dance pretty, just trying to dance in a way that feels good, and it's also explorative in that I want to try to move in ways I don't usually move. Like I try to do at least 2 or 3 movements that I don't think I've ever done before. It can be like, it can be some silly movement, or it can be some weird disjointed movement, or fast movement, or slow movement. But it's got a kind of explorative, like, what can I do here? What's going on? And this is similar to the kelp, except in the kelp I'm doing it very, very gently with a quality of listening, a little more passively. This is still fairly yin when I do expressive, explorative, but I'm a little more active with it. I'm tending to move around a little bit in space, a little bit more, and explore intentionally, like what is the range of that joint and how's that feeling and what's going on in my neck and my waist and my knees and my hips. I mean, I really explore all kinds of stuff, and that changes every time I do it. It's a little bit different every time I do it. And then finally the last section is sort of boxing or striking or application of issuing energy. So I might just throw some punches, or I might do random punches like I'm being attacked by an army of invisible zombies, and I'm just working on the similar things that I do in my various forms, but I'm definitely thinking about striking and more more aggressive movements. Not trying to, box or be, box expertly or anything, but I'm just exploring my body's ability to strike, my body's ability to issue energy. And I'm just doing it in air, so I'm not, I'm not throwing it really hard. I have to stop that movement, otherwise I'm going to hurt myself. So I have to kind of be safe, but I'm working the pathways of striking with a little bit more oomph, a little bit more energy than I would say if I was just doing the form part of this. And then I work my way back again. I go back to expressive, I go back to form, and I finish again with the seaweed, and I might go through it again. Sometimes I go 2 or 3 minutes each, back and forth. Sometimes I do 5 minutes each, and that's it. Sometimes I'll do 5 minutes each and come back. I vary it every time I do it, depending on how much time and energy I have. But what I've noticed is that these are 4 modes of being and modes of presence in my body that I really like and encompass a lot of what I do in my life. I have a listening, curious, what's going on in my body kind of state, and then I have various forms, Tai Chi forms, but it can also be representative of anything I do with my body that there is a correct version of, and I'm trying to do that thing. That can be playing the guitar, that can be singing, that can be walking, that can be riding my bike, that can be doing these kind of movements, it can be playing with my hula hoop, it can be juggling, it can be working with weighted balls, doing bagua, it can be any of that stuff, but it's form. It's got a correct, there's a goal of doing it correctly. And then exploring and expressing things with my body, expressing feeling, expressing thought, expressing ideas, expressing impulses in my body, and also exploring what the capacities of my body actually are at this moment. And then striking, self-defense, issuing energy in a way that is self-defensive. Those are important modes for me, so I check in with them every day and see what I can do, and I'm still really enjoying it. And I do recommend something like this. If you feel like doing this one, just be careful. Don't twist your knees. Don't do anything that feels painful or straining or difficult, especially in the joints. It should feel fairly relaxed and fairly comfortable the whole time. It's not meant to be get you sweaty and feeling like, wow, I'm going to push myself to my limits. It's not that kind of workout. It's a movement workout. It's not necessarily a cardio workout or a strength workout. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you want to try this kind of thing, be careful. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel or visit GeneBurnett.com.